Hey everybody, welcome back to the Conscious Cruiser podcast. It is episode 48. 48 of the podcast, and we are here today to talk about cruising beyond US waters and taking your first international cruise abroad. So let's get into it right after this.
Welcome into the Conscious Cruiser podcast, the know before you go approach to cruising and travel. The smartest cruiser is the Conscious Cruiser. And your conscious casters, Alisa, Chet, and Scott.
We're back.
We're back.
We're
Hey guys,
back.
how are you?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
I'm back here with my friends. We're talking about
Yes,
cruising.
that's
And
right.
I'm happy.
What
I'm
about
less
you, Chet?
than
How
a,
you doing today?
I'm less than a week away from a cruise. You know how I am.
So we're all
AMA.
in the mood to daydream and talk about cruising like we like to do anyway. So,
Yes. Yeah.
well, you guys, it's been a month already since I've been back from my cruise to Greece, which was amazing. Thank you for everybody who's been watching and following along and leaving all the comments because the vlogs have been fun to relive it all. But I
Definitely.
thought, we could talk a little bit, and I think Chet suggested this a couple weeks ago that we talk about, what it's like cruising outside of the US. Now I
Oh,
know we all cruise technically outside of the US when we get on a cruise ship, but is it any different or is it more complicated if you have to travel to the international destination first before boarding the cruise ship? So, what do you guys think?
good topics. Good topic for
I'm
today. I
loving
like it.
Chet, I'll let you start off since you gave me the idea in the first place. Like, do you think it's more complicated?
Well, I'll tell you what, it seems more complicated. Whether it actually is or not, it's going to be up to your experience, right? But I have been outside the country at least. One time for Alaska, I had to go to twice. I had to go to Vancouver, which is Canada.
Oh,
Mhm.
Canada, it's a
Canada.
foreign country. And a couple of times I've also had to fly to California, which is also considered sometimes a foreign country. But anyway, yeah. So
Way to
there's a
be
little,
from over in the foreign country. I'm close enough.
there's a little bit of difference, even just flying into Canada, you can't get in there without
Yes,
a passport. You got to have
correct.
a passport. So there's a little bit of differences there. And you're going to find out that going through their security checks, they ain't playing. They're going to check you. They're going to check your stuff. They tore our suitcases apart. They was looking for,
Woo,
taking the zippers out, taking the buttons out. I mean, I don't know what they was looking for,
woo.
but they was going to find something, but they didn't.
The
So
word was out. They're
yeah, so
looking for
you
you.
going to a foreign country, they're looking for things that you may have in there that they don't allow. That everywhere else you go is okay.
Like
Yeah.
You know
double
what I mean?
squeakies.
Yeah,
You know,
squeakies may not be
uh,
allowed. I don't
woo.
know.
That's a
But if
good
you have
question. You need
something,
to know next time you go to Canada.
but going to a foreign country, maybe if I went to Japan instead and I'd had some
Yeah,
Tylenol with codeine in it, that's no big deal. Here, you can buy it off the shelf, right? Well, guess what? They're going to haul you in over there in Japan for that. So they're looking for something that you may not have done your research on to
right.
find out. So I think that complicates things. You got to do your homework a little more. You need to find out what kind of things can you not take that are banned,
Yeah.
illegal, culturally inappropriate, things like
Yes.
that. You need to leave behind and don't take. So it's a little bit more complicated like that. I think you need to do a little bit more homework than you do on just leaving out of Florida, coming back to Florida.
I agree.
Agree. Agree.
Definitely agree. I mean, the passport I think is one of the biggest things, or having the real ID now. If you are going to travel to Greece or you're going to travel to Rome or Barcelona, somewhere like that, you can't just get on an international flight with a driver's
Hmm.
license. You really can't anyway now. I mean, their
Right.
new law has it where you have to
Mhm.
have the real ID passport. But in general, get your passport, right? Get your passport. It makes everything a lot easier. Also, when you're in these foreign countries too, Yes, the passport card and the real ID is accepted, but the passport itself makes it so much easier. And like Chet said, you do have to do your homework because there are certain over-the-counter drugs that you can get here that you may be using on a daily basis that you might not be able to use in Barcelona, right? There may be something else that you
Mhm.
could get there or something that you can't get there, right? And it would be silly for you to take a trip of a lifetime, let's say a bucket list cruise, right? To get
Mhm.
all the way over to Barcelona to get taken away for your Tylenol, 753489. That is fine here in Walmart, but over there in Barcelona, you
Not
get
so
taken away
much.
over in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just do your homework. You do have to do a little bit more research. Does it make it a little bit more complicated? Yes. But the old thing is the old knowledge is power, right? We kind of fell into not
Mhm.
to learn, right? So you learn about the place that you're going to, right? Culturally, what is accepted, what you can bring
Yep.
in, what you can't bring in, what you can wear, right? There's some international countries where you can't wear, I wouldn't say certain colors, but maybe certain patterns or certain different things that you could wear here in the USA where
Yeah,
you can
camouflage. You can't
Camouflage is
wear.
not a thing. Yeah.
camouflage is a perfect example, right? I was going to say that's Cozumel. It is international, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, in Cozumel or Mexico, you can't wear any camouflage because you are impersonating the military, right? Imagine you went over to Spain or something like that and you had, something that you can't wear and you didn't know, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to take a trip of a lifetime to only find out that you're not going on that trip of a lifetime because of something very silly, right? Something that you were intending to break the law, you didn't mean to do, you didn't do your research is what happened. And that's what happens when you don't do your research when you're going 18 plus hours across the entire globe. Okay. Like
Yes.
Chet said, it's not just like going to Florida, even though,
Yes.
yes, I think that that is another country in itself, too.
There's a
It,
lot of places too, that even for women aren't allowed to be some places without their head covered,
Yep.
without their
mhm.
arms covered. I've read these on shore excursion
Yeah.
descriptions for places looking at, and I'm like, whoa, some women only take sundresses and tank tops. What are they going to do when they get there? They're going to have to buy a sweater or something. I don't know, buy something to cover themselves up. And so, yeah, there's a lot of homework to do going overseas. And I had another one on here too. Simple little things too. Tipping. You may offend somebody if you tip them. Can
Yeah.
you imagine that?
Very
I,
true.
I would never have guessed that. I've read people said I tried to give them a tip and they got mad. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. My experience is that they were not expecting it. They were like, oh, we tried to tip the our tour guide at one
Yeah.
point at the end of the tour, and he was a little taken aback, like, what? Okay, thank you. he
Wow.
was not he was not expecting it at all, which was different. But
Yep.
yeah, I think you made good points, and what I was going to talk about too, especially with the passport. I know that's talked about a lot in general with cruising. We need to have our passport, but in the U.S., if you leave from a U.S. port and returning to that same U.S. port, you can still cruise on the real ID and your birth certificate. But you can't do that if you're leaving the country and then going aboard from. So
Yes.
definitely have to have the passport, and it has to be valid for 6 months after your expected return date. So like you can't,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna expire while I'm there. Like, no, don't do it.
I just had to
Yeah.
renew mine because of that reason.
Yeah, you need it. You need the extra time. And excuse me, you actually, if you have been well traveled already and your passport book is a little full, you need some blank pages at the end too, or they're like,
Yeah.
not quite gonna cut it. So yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
The
You
6 month
most
tip is very, very important because you do not want to get caught for a week or a few days. And I know somebody who did end up going over to an international cruise, didn't realize that their passport expired like a week after they gotten back or something like that, and they did not let that person on. So yeah, it's a tough lesson to learn, but that is, yeah, it has to be 6 months from the time that you return to be still valid. And some people say
yeah,
that's crazy, but that's just what it is.
that's
And
And it has to
that's
be in good condition. If
yes,
you spilled a Coke on that thing or got it wrinkled up, wore it in your wet bathing suit, it got wrinkled up, and you threw it on your dash on the way home, and now it looks like a paperweight. They're not going to accept that either, even if it's a brand new one. If it's damaged, and they say this is too damaged, you can't go.
You're what? Yeah. You're sunk.
Yeah.
They technically call that like what do they call it? Like federal property, right? Because I
Yes.
actually, not to get on a passport tangent, but I saw
Yes.
a TikTok video of a lady who bedazzled her whole
No.
passport, and she was like, I thought it was so cute. She like glued the little bedazzle, to the front of her passport,
Yeah.
and they didn't let her on her flight or wherever she was going, and somebody had a video of her, like, I guess getting confrontational, but she was at home then picking all of the things off of her, and she was like, don't ever bedazzle your passport. Apparently it's not your passport.
It's property of the government. Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. I
And
wouldn't have known that.
I wonder if she thought maybe instead of, because now you see the passport covers, the little inserts that you can put them in, which you think you're keeping it safe, and you're protecting it from getting scratched up. But when you have to present it, you have to remove the passport from that cover. So maybe she thought she was, I don't need a cover. I can just decorate it myself. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
That's what she thought. Yeah, and everybody in the comments were like, "Did you know that there's such thing as passport?" He's like, "Yes, but I wanted it on the cover, and it's me." Well,
I paid $175 for it. I should be able to.
I mean, that's kind of what she said, but yeah, I wasn't gonna bedazzle my passport, but that is something that I knew. You can't sign your passport, you can't decorate it, you can't put stickers on it, right? I might have put a sticker on mine to be kind of, whatever. Oh,
yeah,
me too. I might have put a sticker on mine if you had not said that, Scott. I might have put if I bought Leg Journey stickers, I might have said, "Hey, this will be cool."
Don't do it. Yeah. So when you see everybody with the plain looking passport book, that's why they don't try to embellish it at all.
This is why we do these shows, folks, so that we're learning stuff here too as we talk amongst ourselves. Hopefully everybody out there on Spotify and YouTube is also picking up some good tips here from us.
And the other thing I would say that would complicate the traveling abroad to get the cruise was the flights themselves. Like I know sometimes people do the transatlantic, and maybe there might be a cross Pacific tour. I guess, like, I don't know where you'd be going, Fiji or I don't know. I have to ask Bill his around the world journeys, Bill Armstrong Adventures. But anyway, if you have to get a flight to get to Europe, let's say, that is an extra expense for sure. But you also have to account for the time difference. So for those who like to cut it a little close and get your flight the morning of your cruise and hope that all is going well, that is really too close, in my opinion, for going that far. And if you have any kind of delay, no one we actually know, I'm just saying, if you have any kind of delay or a problem with your connection, you could really be sunk and miss the ship altogether. So, definitely pay more attention, I would say, than you normally do in booking your flight, because you have less opportunity to recover from that if you're going all the way to Europe. So
one mistake could make it. One mistake or 1 hour or a few hours, you're like, oh, I thought it was 8 o'clock, and you're like, oh no, it's 10. I did the time conversion.
So would you recommend 1 day or 2 days early? Let's say your cruise leaves on a Saturday. Would you fly over to Greece on Friday or Thursday?
Thursday. And actually this happened. I was allowing for 2 days. So technically I left home on Wednesday.
Wow.
And then arrived early on Thursday morning in Athens. So that was a whole it was trippy for the trip. trying to get accustomed to the time and all of that. But we had 2 full days there, and honestly it wasn't enough. If you want to go and sightsee and all of that, you could have used more, but obviously we had time constraints, PTO constraints. But 2 days, I would say.
Okay.
Give yourself the 2 days.
That's what you call grease lightning.
Grease lightning.
That's
Sorry,
Alisa's new nickname.
throw that one in there.
It's too funny. Too
I kept calling her going to Italy for like 6 months. Going to Italy. I mean,
too funny.
Greece is the new Italy, I guess.
I guess it's the hot thing right now. But no, here's the next question, and the know before you go. I went on a cruise line that I had never heard of prior to learning about this trip. So I'm not sure how well known it is here in the States. The cruise line is called Celestial Cruises. They specialize in cruising Greece, the Mediterranean, and in
Okay.
general. I do think they have an itinerary that goes to Dubai as well, but it's an older, well-established cruise line there, and the ship was much older. It was very comfortable, well decorated, all that, but it was different. So, and if you're taking a trip abroad like that to cruise, would you feel more comfortable trying a new cruise line or new to you cruise line, or would you rather stick with a Carnival, a Royal, a Norwegian, something that you are already familiar with? I'll start with you, Scott.
Yeah, no, I think given you are going to do a once in a lifetime opportunity international cruise, right? And that cruise is already going to be about exploring the ports and just being port intensive, right? I would be more inept to try a different cruise line like a Celestial, right? Because either way, if I try it or if I go with an MSC or a Carnival or a Royal, I'm going to have to go on an older, smaller ship anyway, right? So doesn't matter about comfortability there. I'm already going on a smaller ship because most of these places that you're going to go to that are bucket list destinations, you can't just take the Carnival Jubilee there, right? Because a lot of these ports have certain size regulations that you can't bring massive cruise ships. You can bring cruise ships,
Right.
but you can't bring massive ones. Okay, that's why the Celestial Journeys that you went on was a lot smaller and a lot older because it can travel down those different pathways. So I think I would try another cruise line, because to try another cruise line, why not? B, right, to try a smaller ship on another cruise line, right? And that's very important now as we're getting to this age of bigger is better and does size matter and all this other. Oh, I want a rocket ship off the back of my cruise ship and I want the go-karts to fly like the Jetsons, and we can time each other and have competitions, and AI can take pictures of us. Like, sometimes we don't need all of that. We can just go back to how it was. And when you go on these bucket list cruises and these cruises that are really about the ports, which that's what cruising was about in the first place. Okay, when you go on a cruise for just the ports themselves, right? The ship really is kind of irrelevant, right? So to make it relevant to myself and my experience, I would try a whole different cruise line. And it's better too. You get better service and you get better quality of people and better quality of the people that are around you when you're on a smaller ship. Just saying, right? The attention to detail, right? Your cabin steward, your everybody. It's like Cheers. Everybody knows your name. You wake up, you go down the hall. Hello, Mr. Scott. Hello, Mr. Scott. Hello, Mr. You're like, that guy was hanging up towels in the gym. How does he know my name?
There's only 8 of you on board.
There's only 8 of us on board, and it is what it is. So that's really that would be the time for me to try a smaller cruise line that I've never heard about before, right? Even if it was going to be bad, right? It's an experience. It was an
experience for sure. Okay, what about you, Sea Lake Journeys? What would you do?
Y'all know how this works. We're on episode 48 now. Y'all know when one of us gives an answer, the other one has to go the opposite way, right? So I'm going to stick with cruise line. I know, like Princess. How about that?
I knew it was going to Princess. I knew it. I knew it.
You know what? I mean, I'm sure they do, but I didn't see Princess. I feel like I saw everybody else, but you would look for Princess.
In fact, the itinerary you had, I could do that on the Sun Princess and the Star Princess, the newest, biggest ship they got out there. Does that itinerary? Really? Believe it or not, Santorini and everything. So I don't know how they must pay
Well,
something.
Santorini is a
It
tender
needs
port.
to be
Nobody's pulling right up,
Yeah, so they're
So
going up everywhere
Oh, it's
like
tender.
that. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm already going to a strange place, strange ports. I feel like I'm fucking astronaut and I'm out on Mars or something. But at least I can come back home to my rocket ship that I know. So I'm gonna come back to a princess ship that I know. So at least if I do feel a little stress about where I'm at, which I probably
yeah.
won't because that ain't me. But
Yeah.
anyway, if I do, I come back and home onto a ship that I'm familiar with. I know how they operate. I know they're
Yeah.
going to have everything that I want and expect. And so that's my safety net, just in case.
Yeah, that's
Everything
what I
gets
was
real
kind
weird.
of. That's why I was asking because I do feel like humans in general are not the
Yeah.
best at change. Like we like what we like, we want what we want, and maybe that little bit of comfort, of something familiar, you could enjoy. So, anyway, like Chet is saying, there are plenty of cruise lines that go all the places. The
Yeah.
ships move all around the world, constantly rotating. So you could pick a favorite.
Yeah. Oh,
Easily.
yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of choice.
You can get there from here on a cruise ship.
Yeah, you can. You can. All right. Well, speaking of, some cruise ships, is there a word from a sponsor that we need to go to now?
Let's see some crazy cruise ship
Some
going
crazy
off
kind
in
of
2027.
cruise.
An ungroup, I think. Yeah.
Don't miss out. I like Chris down at the bottom. Book it.
Everybody.
Come
Yeah.
sail with the Match Game crew February 14, 2027 on the Carnival Celebration. Join us and book any way you want. And then just let Liz know so we can add you to the fun.
Fun.
And speaking of group cruises, Chet, I think I got another group cruise sponsor video in our
Oh.
artillery, so to make you happy for the upcoming episodes.
Oh,
We
okay.
see
Upcoming.
what
Something to
group,
look
Happy
forward
another
already.
to.
group cruise
Something to
coming
look
up soon.
forward to.
Yeah, that I might
Is
be on. That we
is
all will be on, right? I think we're all going to
I
be on,
think
right?
I
You
think
can't
so.
do
and I don't know why this reminded me, but maybe is it in another language? Is it in English?
Oh, it's in English.
It's in English. Okay. So everybody should be able to understand. But do you think going on one of these trips abroad, you have to worry about trying to learn the language of the host country, I guess you would say? Or do you feel like
Hmm.
you're good the way you are? Take me as I am, Greece, whether I
I
know it or
never thought
not.
about that. That's a good question.
Well, I'm going to learn a couple of
I,
words.
yes.
I'm going to learn hello and thank you, and I might learn how to say adios in a foreign language. Few words. I ain't going to
A
try to
few
learn the
words.
language. I found that everywhere you go in the world, sometimes their English is better than ours, and they have a hard time understanding us because we got different accents from the United States.
Yes.
And we've met people from Germany that their English was way better than mine.
Uh,
and but all over, we've met people from all over the world on cruise ships and at different ports we've gone to, and English seems to be good. But I think just from a fun cultural standpoint, I do want to learn a few words so that I can say adios in a foreign language.
Adios.
We're
How
supposed to
about just
watch this
goodbye or
in a foreign language.
Adios. I'm gonna stick with what Chet said before, and I'm gonna go opposite, and I'm gonna go to my good friend Bill Warmstrong. I learned this from, I forget if he was live or it was a vlog, but these wonderful things in your hand here. This is my phone, by the way. Wonderful things that you have here, called a phone. it is also a translator. Okay,
Yes.
you can pull up Google Translate, and you can even scan the item and it will tell you exactly what it says. You can also speak into your phone from someone that is of a foreign language, and you can translate
Mhm.
exactly what you're saying. Now,
Yeah.
I've seen some spoof videos of how that does not go too well, but I know that the spoof was put in before that. So the Google Translate definitely works. I've seen Bill do it. I've seen Bill successfully do it at, I believe it was Japan. I believe it was Japanese, because I don't think Bill speaks Japanese. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bill. But he did it at a restaurant over a menu, and you could see exactly what it was.
Yes.
And I mean, it looked like it said like 2 eggs and pork and whatever, or beef or whatever, and it looked like what it was. So I'm like, okay. So I think I would rely a little bit more on Google Translate. I might learn
Mhm.
a hey or a hi or hello, but again, I don't want to say it in a different dialect, and like, it just
Way
be like
off.
slightly off, and it means
Yeah.
like rotten eggs instead of, good
Yeah.
morning. And they're like,
Like,
"Ooh,
what?
say that again.
Well,
Things are high." Like,
a translator does work good,
I-
Scott. We ran into a couple in Alaska from Korea, and they had it on
Mhm.
their phone, and they would say something into it, and it'd talk to us in English, and we'd say something in English back into their phone, and it would say it in their language. We talked like that for hours. It worked great.
You made a new friend. That's so
mom,
Yeah,
cool. That's so cool.
mom,
yeah.
dad. Oh, sorry.
It actually worked extremely well because they didn't
Yes.
speak a word of English and we didn't speak a word of Korean, but yet we talked for hours. So
Yeah, we did. I guess I did a combo. I did try to learn the please and thank, not, well, thank you and hello, good morning kind of thing. I did try to learn that, but of course, teaching yourself, your
daños,
pronunciation is going to be
daños.
all off. So Google Translate was handy, and I
Yeah,
did use that as well. But something to think about, and I wasn't really expecting. The ship announcements were made in several languages. So,
Oh, I like
you
that.
know, yeah, so it was helpful because obviously there are multiple people speaking multiple different languages and they needed it translated, but it made the announcements long. So sometimes, we have like short patience with those announcements anyway, or we feel like they're interrupting our
yeah,
day. You're like, oh, I can't really hear, whatever. But I would say go expecting there to be longer announcements because they're translating in all the languages, and to be respectful of people needing to hear it in
Yeah.
their native language. Don't just be like, why are they still talking, or you heard English and so you're out. Well, somebody else needed it in French, or I don't even know all the languages they were translating.
Was it the
English
same
English was
person
the
that was,
only one I recognized.
was it the same
Um,
person doing all of them?
there were a couple of people doing them, but those people each spoke multiple languages. So it wasn't like they're one Spanish speaking guy and one French speaking lady and what. No, they would just rattle it off right behind each other, and it was impressive.
yeah,
We
very
we we
impressive.
are definitely behind on the foreign language game. we we don't haven't had the opportunity to learn them like that. So it
We
was
we
interesting and different.
that's my international language. We.
We
I think that's French.
All right, well, I guess we better just go to the question of the cast.
My favorite question of the cast.
Question of the cast. Now, you guys saw me getting ready for this Greece trip. I mean, I was ready. I was preparing months in advance, and I got all kinds of things. But I'm curious, what of those things, if you recall, would you think actually was the most helpful, useful, or would you say, yeah, when I go, I better make sure I have that? And I don't have like a visual.
A rain poncho.
A rain poncho.
Yes, one of those like they like fold up, so they don't even look like a rain poncho. And then they like you throw them out when you're done. They're like disposable rain ponchos, and hand warmers, and a hat that covers your ears if you're going to somewhere cold.
I knew Scott was going to say hat.
I mean, do I need to respond?
And a secret class for your tequila that looks like a hot dog. Those are all my
I mean,
items.
I did take a hat, but it was a sun hat. Okay, granted, it was still technically summer when I went. I did not have a rain poncho, Scott. I'm sorry to say. And just as a little fun trivia fact, Greece gets like 300 days of sunshine a
Oh,
year. Very sunny,
well,
very dryish kind of climate.
you got to
More
be
like
prepared.
Arizona.
You got to be prepared, you know, in case it wants to rain chickpeas or something over there.
What about you, Chet?
Well, two things in particular that one obviously is the passport. You ain't getting there
Yes.
without it. And the second, though, is a recording device, whether it be your phone or a
Yeah.
camera.
Oh,
My
Yeah.
gosh, can you imagine getting there without one?
Yes.
Or you get there and your phone ain't
Everything.
working. I say pack two. Pack your phone and pack another camera too, in case one of them don't work for some reason. The battery went dead, film went bad, chip went
Yeah.
bad, lost one, UFO came down, took it. Whatever. Have something to
Whatever.
record all that. Yes. Because I've been watching your vlogs, and I can't imagine going there and not recording what you're seeing there.
Yes. I mean, I tried to, you know what was really handy now that you say that? I had that magnetic clip for my little GoPro style camera, and I
oh,
clipped that to the bag, to my bag, and that was really helpful. And I've used a lot of footage from that camera. So I was able to be hands-free, and if the phone camera was overheating, I could, put it away for a while because I was still recording.
recording. That's awesome.
The camera you had was recording when he's following Ed up the stairs.
Up the stair.
Yeah, in
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Up the Acropolis. Yeah.
Yes,
Because
the
I'm looking at
Acropolis.
the camera angle, and I'm like, how's she getting this angle?
Yes. Listen, that climb, and for those of you who don't know or haven't heard, the climb was a lot for me.
It looked like a
So
lot for everybody.
I wanted to be hands-free, thinking I was going to be able to grab onto a handrail or something. There were no handrails.
Window
So
sills and stuff. Yeah.
yes, but just to like keep your balance, I'm glad I didn't like have something else in my hand that I would worry about
Yeah.
falling or dropping or whatever. So yeah, the clip was very handy. But you know what my number one tip would be of all the things that I took with me or was worried about packing would be sneakers. Good
Oh,
walking shoes with a good grip.
That's the
Grease
third thing on my list.
was beautiful, and but it was slippery in lots of unexpected places.
Mhm.
The marble is everywhere, and because it's well worn, been trafficked all these thousands of years, it's slippery. It's slippery. So don't go when you're, guys, if you have nice dress shoes that are slick, or girls who like the flat sandal, the leather sole sandals. I mean, I wore them on the ship, but walking around, no. So
Oh,
yeah, the walking shoes, you need them.
yep.
You need them.
good tip. I like it.
Me too.
Good tip.
Well, I cannot believe this has been episode 48. We're at the end, you guys.
We're almost there. Which reminds me, do not forget to sub up to the Conscious Cruiser.
Mhm.
I'm sure the Conscious Cruiser YouTube will be in here. But in one more episode, we will be over on the Conscious Cruiser exclusively, and we need all of your guys' help to build that channel up. All of our podcast lovers, you don't have to worry about whose channel it's going to be on in another 2 weeks. Because it's just going to be
It's gonna
just
be
on the
on.
Conscious Cruiser. So,
Yeah.
and you're going to get tips, you're going to get videos there. There's going to be other content on that page. I know there's not any right now, but Chet, myself, Alisa will be going on there, and we'll be uploading shorts and different videos and different tips. And we'll also be getting tips from you guys too, as well, and putting you guys on that channel as like a member or a subscriber exclusive tip. So you guys can also help educate and help everybody know before you go cruising, right? All of our cruisers that are finding this podcast. So, yes, thank you.
In case you can't tell, we're pretty excited about that. We can't believe we're gonna be at 50 episodes. This is a big deal, guys. This is a big deal, and we will be happy to celebrate with you. But for now, I think it's time to say we'll see you next time.
We'll see you guys later. And if you
Later.
go on over to Go Live Together, give them a little conscious raid, please, and let them know that Alisa, Chet, and Scott sent you over. So we will see you guys. Have a great morning. Bye, y'all.
Bye.